Season's greetings from Columbus, Ohio. This is incredible. Yeah, man. Bob Marley. Yeah. Okay, that's what I know from my Jamaican, and there's my Jamaican accent. I want to talk about Bob Marley and the 75th album collection that's come out, his 75th anniversary, where these have been repressed back in Apple Studios, half-speed remastering. So we'll talk a little bit about Bob Marley. I, for most of my life, wasn't into reggae. I found it kind of repetitive, and I'm not really getting it. And I know I've told this story before, is when a few years ago when I was working in the Caribbean and I went to St. Croix. See, I worked a lot in Puerto Rico, and that's salsa. I'd go over to St. Thomas. St. Thomas, some reggae, but you get more calypso, you get more like steel bands, a little bit different. St. Croix, that's laid back mind. Everything gets done tomorrow. And they love the reggae. And I'd rent my car and I'd be driving around the island, going to where I need to go, and just cranking up the reggae. And I understood it. I mean, I felt the vibe. I was on the island. It was like, God, this is perfect. This is the music of the island. It makes sense to me. I became a reggae fan. Now, I had Bob Marley CDs. I bought them because an important artist, and that's what I did with CDs, because they were cheap. And I just never really listened to it until after St. Croix. And then I get this. So, Bob Marley, here's what I think of Bob Marley. He is the Miles Davis of reggae. Miles Davis took jazz. He brought it to the masses. He played in a way that everyone understood it, and they got it. And he created this huge wave of people coming into jazz. Bob Marley did the exact same thing for reggae. He brought the masses, the wide audience, into the world of reggae. Miles Davis of reggae. Yeah, the sad thing is he died at age 36 of cancer. So young. But what he put out there was really amazing. In the 60s, he's part of a vocal trio with, what's his name? Peter Tosh and Bunny Wailer. They're a vocal trio. Really not going anywhere, just doing stuff on the island. And then Marley, if you remember that, there was a guy that put out a few of their singles. That's Cat. Well, you have to come up here, dude. I'm not moving. And so he did. And he got a hold of Peter Blackwell. Was that? No, Chris Blackwell. That was the name. Chris Blackwell of Island Records. Now, Chris Blackwell, he had just put out the Cliff, the Jimmy Cliff album, The Harder They Come. And it did extremely well, especially with the white hippies. But Jimmy Cliff goes, man, I'm going to get a bigger label. And so he left him. So Marley goes over to Blackwell. And Blackwell's going back to kind of Jamaica to get his roots and get everything going there again. And this was perfect. You see, Bob Marley and the Wailers, they had a rock-type sound. They were perfect. They were what he was looking for. It was like a match made in heaven. So they started producing, and the very first album they did was Catch a Fire. And this thing took off. It grabbed the white audience. Now, on these half-speed masters, we'll show you, because what you want to know is how do they sound, obviously, right? They do come with, each one has, if I pull it out here, a certificate. Who doesn't love a certificate, right? And so here we go. Just Abbey Road's world-renowned engineers have been cutting grooves into discs since the studios first opened their door in 1931. And this record was pressed from a master cut using a precision technique known as half-speed mastering. Procedure requires source matter, a cutting lathe to run at half speed, adopted, blah 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 blah, la di di da, la di di da. But it has a foil seal. If it's foil, it's good. So now there's rumor, and it's very well true. They're digital. Here's what I'll tell you: they sound incredible. I can hear that the bass is so crystal clear. I can hear everything else happening, the instruments. It's beautiful. I am not an audiophile. I don't hear that way. I have nothing to compare it to because they all got washed away. But when I put this on, I go, wow, this sounds terrific. And I was lucky, so I was going to buy 3 of them. And then there was one of these companies that I buy records from, had them on sale, and I could get them for 35% off. So I buy 3, but 35% off. 35% off. That's really incredible. And I just know by the way gross margins work, they're going to lose some money on this. So I bought them all. I bought every one of them. It kind of goes against my thing buying a complete catalog. Oh well, what the hell there? I got them all. And I'm really excited that I did. Really, really good. And so we'll kind of just go through them. Again, I think the sound quality is just top notch. I apologize. These are in their plastic sleeves. I did not take them out. So this was the first one, Catch a Fire. This caught fire. Oh my goodness. Bob Marley, what they found is this guy, he was a fierce topical songwriter. He knew how to make things to get people excited, but also about love and peace. Very spiritual and a compelling frontman. And the Wailers themselves, they were a rock band. That's how Chris Blackwell marketed them. He marketed them as a rock band. And so when they did this album, he sent the tapes back to London, and musicians like Steve Winwood added organ to it. But the sound changed, and it was a fuller sound, and it was something that captured everybody's attention, and it was different. It wasn't repetitive. It still had all the reggae feel, the reggae vibe, but there was so much more going on. Of course, it's Bob Marley, Bunny Wailer, and Peter Tosh. So they did this, and this has, Concrete Jungle, 400 Years, Stir It Up, Little Darling, just kinky reggae. Great hits. It took off. It did extremely well. Well, that was in 1973. So also in 73, why not? Let's do the follow-up, Burnin. And this came out. And some people regard this even better. You know what? You are just a whiny crybaby. Get out of here. Yeah, you're not in the video. Sorry, folks. I know you came for Cat, but what the hell? You can't sit there and just meow all the time. So, Burnin. Probably, I think, a little bit better than Catch a Fire. On here, you have Get Up, Stand Up. You have I Shot the Sheriff. I Shot the Sheriff threw these guys to superstardom, not because it was on this album, but because Eric Clapton took it. It was in 74 and made a huge hit on it and brought attention to the group. That's what they needed. And many other songs obviously been done by other people. Put It On, Burnin' and Lutin'. Really nice stuff. Did really well. So 73, they had 2 big hits. Peter Tosh wrote a couple of these. So now they've had these 2 albums. They're really popular. People are going gaga over them. So Peter Tosh and Bunny Wailer, they're kind of going, well, wait, everyone's talking Bob Marley. It's Bob Marley this, Bob Marley that. Well, forget it. We're gone. We're going to do our own thing. And so they left. No problem, man. Bob Marley brought in, what he termed I3. One of them was his wife, Rita Marley, and then 2 other ladies came in. So they had these 3 lady backup singers. What it did is it gave it a more of a gospel inflected feel, shall we say, with these ladies singing back there. And I think that what made it even more appealing. So, Burnin, great stuff. I Shot the Sheriff. In 1974, he came with the third of the really great albums. I mean, I was probably the big three, shall we say, and that was Natty Dread. On here we have No Woman, No Cry. One probably his most amazing songs, a tender song. You know, it's not, again, all about politics. There's also the beauty. Natty Dread's on here, Talking Blues, Revolution, Rebel Music. Then there was them Belly Full, but we go hungry. Wow, man! I mean, I'm telling you, this guy was on fire, making stuff that had a lot of people nervous. They do. Let's see now. This one, some come in just straight black, but here we have. They actually do reproduce the inner sleeves, so it's very nice. So, Natty Dread. That was his third. So what happens? You're doing really well, right? We got things going. Well, there's only one thing to do. Put out a live album, dang it. So they did. Bob Marley and the Wailers Live came out. And this one came out in 75. It was recorded. Oh, let me just take that off. Didn't prepare this very well, but that's okay. You're used to that, right? You watch this channel. Steve didn't prepare it. Hey, look at that. Can't even get it off. This came out in 75. What you found was an extremely tight band. This just in paper. These guys, they had it going. This of his live albums is probably the very best. They were peaking, and it was. The grooves were good. Everything was like perfect on this. You know, they played the hits. Really good. Really good. So if you're trying to say, hey, well, what do I want to get? You know, these Bob Marleys, those first three, you can't go wrong. If you want a live, that's probably the best one to get. My opinion, I'm not an expert. Doug from Fat City Vinyl, if you don't watch his channel, please do. He is the reggae king. He can tell you. So then we have in 76, okay, we came out with Rastaman Vibration. Here, he began kind of changing. He does have the very topical song War on here. But his music began putting on, began sounding kind of similar a little bit, okay? Not as out there like he had been doing it, and more ganja related. So, you know, ganja was taking over, and you know, you'll find more of that on here on the Rastaman Vibration. These obies come right off too. I just haven't taken them out of the wrap. Next album that came out was in 77, and it was Exodus. Came out in 77. Exodus, now for me personally, if I was going to buy one, first I'd buy the greatest hits, but then this would be one for one reason over it. It has the song Jaman. Jaman, yeah, Jaman, I think I'm going to jam with you. I love that. That is an earwandy, an ear candy song, earworm song. It sticks in my head. It doesn't go. Jammin' is my jam. There's nothing better. Rolling down the windows, cranking up jammin'. Best song. Man, it's one of my all-time favorite songs. I'd buy it for that. One Love, People Get Ready is also on here. So really, this is another super big album. Did really good. Came out in 78. What you found though is he was adding now more lead guitar. You still have the bass, you still have the drum, but there's more guitar being added in, and that came out that. Then in 78, that was in 77. In 78 we had Kaya. A lot of people like this one with that they've written when they've seen me showing these. Easy Skanking, Is This Love? She's Gone, Misty Morning, Time Will Tell. I don't know the songs on this one nearly as much, but that was the one that came out next. He went back to another live album. And this live album was Babylon Bus. When you compare the first live album with this one, their band's not nearly as tight. When they're playing the hits, they kind of they're doing different things with them. Okay, so if you really like the way the hits were, you want live, you want something different, here we go. You know, this is a 2-record set, so there's lots to be heard on here. And you know, you're jamming, there's War on here, Rebel Music, Stir It Up, you know, the Positive Vibration, Exodus. Quite a few of the hits are on here. To me, not as good of a live album. Then in 1980, not only did he find he had cancer, I mean, well, he found he had cancer, which was big, but he put out Survival. Kind of ironic, and maybe that was done on purpose, trying to work on survival. Here we have like Zimbabwe, Babylon Sister, Africa Unite, Ride Natty Ride, Wake Up and Live. Good stuff. It wasn't bad. I think there was, I thought Redemption song was on here, but I don't see it. It did usher in the 80s, and it showed that, hey, I still have something to say. There's still more coming from me. And that's what you find on Survivor. Good as the first 3 of Exodus? I don't think it is. But still, it's Bob Marley, and it sounds great. Well, after he died, no, he had one more before he died. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to get... They did this one here. Actually, Uprising. Gosh darn it. I think I just screwed you guys all up here. Survival maybe came out right before, maybe this one was in 79. I'm sorry, I don't have the date. Well, there you go. You watch me and you never know what the hell you're going to get. Because Uprising's the one he made in 1980. So this one probably came out in 79. This has to be 79. Uprising was in 1980. This had Redemption song. Great song. Forever Loving Jah. Working Dem. Zion Train. More good stuff. Now, Redemption song was a wonderful way that we're going to usher in, you know, the new decade, and it really did show that he had something to talk about. Finally, he did pass away, and after his passing, he did this here. This is a mix of his Confrontation, it's called, and this is B-sides and some other outtakes. Is that neat artwork? It's called Confrontation. Look at that. Wow, huh? That's called Confrontation. And here you can see the little oldie strips on here. So, you know, it came out afterwards. Is it necessary? You know, this is for more of your completists. And then the final one that came out, I mean, there's been others, but this is the last of the major ones. Legend. This thing sold 16 million copies and still selling. Super important album. It's the greatest hits. You know, if you don't know anything about Bob Marley, and almost all of you do, but if you don't, or if you're not sure, to go with this. You will love it. Great stuff. Can't go wrong. Absolute the best. So, there we go. That's it, the Half Speed Masters. Really good stuff. I'm very happy with them. I think they sound great. And you know what a catalog to get. So, hope you enjoy most of the albums you've seen. A little something about them. I'm not an expert. I just know mine. I like a reggae. Really good. Thanks for watching, everyone. Talk to you Sunday. Bye.